Back now on Triad Today, and I'm visited by a couple of folks who have been with us before. I'm so glad they're here now because they have really something special I want to tell you. In fact, I'm going to hold this up in front of me because nobody cares about my face, but you care about this. This is a new cookbook. It's called Comfort Cookin, and it's put out by Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care, and they have many, many locations, but this is something they've done for how many years now?
This is the second cookbook we've done.
And the lady who just answered my question, of course, you know her because she's been on here forever. Sheila Jones is Director of Development for Mountain Valley Hospice and Palliative Care. Next to her, our good friend Kathy Perdue, who's a hospice volunteer and submitted some recipes to this, right, Kathy?
Submitted and also worked on it.
Yeah, well, if you could, I'm going to ask Sheila a couple quick questions. Can you dish me out a little bit of that for just a sec? Because we're going to show you something that, or I'm going to taste it. And, you know, which could be dangerous, but I don't know, I'm going to do that anyway. Before we get going, let me say the fundraising for this is important. The cookbook helps you do what?
Helps us do a couple of things. The main thing, it helps us to provide services to patients and families who do not have insurance. So it doesn't matter what their insured rate or their income rate is, we don't turn them down based on that. So it allows us to serve those families. The second piece, it allows us to fund a prayer shawl ministry that's happening throughout our 16 counties.
Well, I just think it's great. Now, where do you get all these recipes from? Because, I mean, the book you did before had how many recipes?
We had about 340 recipes, and when we did it, it was 5 years ago, celebrating 25 years. We did this one to celebrate 30 years. This one's got 779.
Oh, my gosh.
They come from people in the community, families that we've served, maybe a loved one special recipe. A lot's come from our volunteers.
Well, I'm going to taste this. Now, this is a chili recipe that Kathy did. Now, Kathy, what kind of chili is this?
Well, it's the chili beans from the microwave. And it's one of my recipes that's a go-to if somebody drops in on you.
This is great.
I usually keep the stuff in there. It only takes a few minutes, and it's all done in the microwave.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Did you think of this?
No. The very first microwave I got, I had a little cookbook with it, and I've changed the recipe to where it has the stuff I like in it.
There you go.
Isn't that great? Now, this is great. And you also brought, I'm not going to eat the crackers right now. I'm still working on the chili, but you've got some green, what is that called?
Pepper jelly.
Pepper jelly.
Yes.
And that'll go on anything, right?
It's very good on crackers with cream cheese or bagels with cream cheese.
Right.
But it's not too hot.
No, it's not.
A little bit of a hint. So.
No, and see, I can't, my wife likes to eat hot things. I like it kind of mild, and this is great. I mean, you can always add stuff if you want to make it hotter.
Right.
I know what I was going to ask you, Kathy. Why do you like to be a volunteer?
Because these folks are just so kind and good. You feel like you're giving back to the community. And from the moment I walked in the door the first time, they made me feel at home.
What are you able to do? How are you able to help people? What do you get out of it?
Well, what I get out of it is a feeling of worth and of actually accomplishing something. Since I've retired, sometimes you have to hunt for that. But I really enjoy it. I do mostly work in the office for them, but the cookbook was a great project.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. And
if it wasn't for her, all these words would be spelled really wrong.
So in other words, Kathy did most of the editing, is that right?
Kathy did a lot of the editing. We had several volunteers that played a role in that. We had a committee, but Kathy was one of our lead folks, so we really appreciate what she's done to help make this successful.
Aside from the cookbook, and we're going to keep plugging that, but aside from the cookbook, why are folks like Kathy important? Why are the volunteers important?
They are the heartbeat of what we do. They sit at patients' bedsides when families need to have a break. They run errands for families. They go and read to patients in the nursing home who don't have families to visit. It's numerous things that they do. If they're an attorney, they let us use they'll use those skills to help us with what we need. If they're a physician, sometimes they'll volunteer those skills. It doesn't matter. Whatever their talent is, we can use that. So we appreciate that. I
want to give a plug. I got another question I want to ask you, but before that I want to put something up on screen because the website will help you get to some other information you need, and that's mountainvalleyhospice.org, mtmvalleyhospice.org. But my question is, how can people purchase this cookbook?
They can start by going to either one of our 7 locations. If you don't know where they are, you can also visit our website. There's an order form on the website. We do charge a little bit more if we have to ship it to you, so we charge $26, but otherwise you can walk in and buy one for $20. And again, the proceeds help us to do many great things.
Oh, it's $20 well spent, and you know, you can pick up several because I think they make good gifts too.
Wonderful gifts.
Don't you find that true, Kathy? That people like these for?
Absolutely. I've already given like 4 away.
Really?
Yes, and everybody seem to be very excited.
Birthdays, Christmas, you can stock up on them now, and
use them for several things.
Now you mentioned the 30th anniversary. What else is going on during the 30th anniversary that we ought to mention to people?
One of the things that we've been trying to do is do an open house at each location, so folks can come in and see where we're at and what we do, and visit with the staff and meet the volunteers. And that's already happened for a couple of our locations, but we've got some more coming up in October and November. I know November, I think the 14th or around in that week of that time frame is the one for Mount Airy. We're trying to plan us a big party celebration. So
And you do so much for the community. The tour to Mayberry went well.
Tour to Mayberry went well.
And
Safe riders, no accidents.
No accident. Everybody had fun, and I just think what you're doing is great. And as we've mentioned before, because we've had Sheila on the program a lot, those of us who have been through hospice with loved ones know what a great service it is, what great people they are. These are folks you want to pick up the phone and talk with, and do it sooner than later. Thanks for all you do in the community. Kathy, thanks for the chili.
You're welcome.
I'll get into the crackers later. And go back to that website, mtmvalleyhospice.org.